Let me start with a small moment you might recognize. You turn quickly to reach for something, or you step off a curb, or you bend to pull on a sock while standing, and for just a second, the world tips, you catch yourself, you steady, and you carry on. But something in you takes note of it, because it didn't used to happen, and now once in a while it does. Many people over 50 feel this, a quiet loss of steadiness that seems to arrive without warning, and most of them assume the same thing. They assume balance is simply something you lose with age, a door that slowly closes on its own. But when I worked with older adults, I learned that this is one of the biggest misunderstandings about the aging body. Because balance is not a single thing that fades, and it is not a door that closes. It's a skill, and a skill can be rebuilt. But to rebuild it, you first have to understand what it actually is. So let me show you. Slowly. I spent nearly 15 years as a physical therapist. Most of those years in California. And balance was at the center of almost everything I did. Here is the first thing most people never learn. Balance isn't one sense, it's three. Three separate systems, all feeding information to your brain at the same time. The first is your inner ear. Deep inside your head sits a tiny system that senses movement and tilt. It tells your brain which way is up. The second is your eyes. Your vision constantly measures the world around you. The floor, the horizon, the walls. Fixed points to hold yourself against. And the third is the one almost no one thinks about. The sensation in your feet, your ankles, your joints. Tiny sensors all through your legs, quietly reporting the ground beneath you, how you're leaning, where your weight sits. Your brain takes all three of these signals, and it blends them together, many times every second. Then it makes constant, tiny corrections you never even notice. A little muscle here. A small adjustment there. That silent teamwork is balance. Now here is why this matters so much. When you understand that balance is three systems working together, you understand why it changes with age. Because each of those three signals fades. Just a little. The inner ear grows less sensitive over the years. The eyes take in less, especially in dim light. And the feeling in your feet slowly softens so the ground reports back a little more faintly. None of these on its own is a catastrophe. A slightly quieter inner ear won't topple you. But here's the part that surprised even me, early in my career. The real problem isn't any single system fading. The real problem is what happens when you lose your backup. Let me explain, because this is the heart of it. When you're young, these three systems overlap. They cover for one another. If your eyes are fooled in a dark room, your feet and inner ear quietly take over. If the ground is uneven, your vision steadies you. There's always a spare, always a second system ready to catch what the first one misses. That overlap is your safety net. And with age, as each signal dims, that net grows thinner. Now, when one system is briefly fooled, there may not be a strong backup waiting. So a moment that your younger body would have absorbed without a thought now becomes a wobble. That's the tipping feeling, not one broken sense, a thinning safety net. You can actually feel this reliance for yourself. Stand safely near a counter and gently close your eyes for a moment. Notice how much less steady you feel, almost at once. That's your vision stepping away, and your other two systems suddenly working alone. When you were younger, they handled that easily. This is also why the dark is trickier as we age. Getting up at night, in a dim room, you lose your strongest steadying sense, right when you need it most. It's worth keeping a soft light near your path for exactly those moments. But we're not finished. Because there's a second half to this. It isn't only about the signals coming in. It's also about how quickly your body can respond. When you start to sway, your body has to catch you. Fast. A quick muscle fires. Your ankle adjusts. Your hip shifts. All in a fraction of a second. And those quick, fast-reacting muscles are exactly the ones that fade first as we age. So even when your brain sees the sway coming, the catch arrives a little slower than it used to. The signal is quieter, and the response is slower. Together, that's what we feel is failing balance. There's also something quiet happening in your attention. Those constant little corrections use a small part of your focus. When you were younger, they were effortless, almost free. But as the signals dim, staying balanced quietly asks for more of your attention. So when you do two things at once, walking while talking, or turning while carrying something, there's less focus left over for the balancing itself. That's why so many stumbles happen in a distracted moment. Not a difficult one. It isn't carelessness. It's a system asking for more attention than it used to. Now sit with this next part, because it's the most important of all. There is one more thing quietly making all of this worse. And it isn't age at all. It's avoidance. Let me tell you what I noticed, again and again. Someone feels unsteady once. It frightens them, understandably, so they start to hold the railing every time. They avoid uneven ground. They keep a hand on the wall. And every one of those choices makes sense in the moment. But here's the quiet cost. Balance is a skill your brain keeps only if you use it. Every time you let something else hold you steady, your brain practices balance a little less. And a brain that stops practicing balance slowly turns the system down. So the very caution meant to keep you safe can quietly speed up the decline. I want to be careful here because safety truly matters. I'll come back to that. But this is also the hopeful part, because if balance fades partly from lack of practice, then practice is exactly how you begin to rebuild it. And your brain at any age is remarkably willing to relearn this skill. So let me show you how to start safely. The first rule is simple. Always practice near support. Stand beside a kitchen counter or a sturdy chair with your hand ready to touch it. Not holding it, just ready. Close enough to catch yourself in an instant. Now the gentlest beginning. Stand with your feet close together, closer than you normally would. That alone makes your balance work a little harder. Hold it for a few slow breaths. When that feels steady, after some days, try standing with one foot just slightly in front of the other, heel near toe. And in time, when you're ready, lift one foot just off the ground, only for a second or two. Your hand near the counter the whole time. You're not trying to stand like a statue. You're gently asking your brain to practice the thing it had stopped practicing. For your feet, spend a little time barefoot at home, on a safe floor. Let your feet feel the ground again. Those quiet sensors sharpen with use. For the quick catch, the muscles, keep them strong. Slow stands from a chair, gentle rises onto your toes with the counter nearby. These give your body the strength to catch a sway when it comes. And here's a small, powerful one for your inner ear and eyes working together. While standing safely near support, slowly turn your head from side to side, then up and down. Gently, just a little at first, you're teaching your brain to stay steady even while your head is moving, which is when so many of these wobbles actually happen. And once the basics feel steady, add one gentle challenge. Count softly, or name a few things you see in the room while you balance near your support. You're teaching your body to stay steady even when your mind is busy, which, as we learned, is exactly when real life tends to test it. None of this takes long, a few minutes a day. But done consistently, week after week, it genuinely rebuilds the system. Now I promise to come back to safety, and I mean it. If you have already had a fall, or you feel truly dizzy, or the room seems to spin, please speak with your doctor before you begin any of this. Sudden balance trouble can have causes that deserve real attention. I'm a former physical therapist. I'm not the person who knows your health. Your doctor is. Everything I've shared is for the gradual, everyday unsteadiness that so many people feel as they age. And for that, gentle patient practice, near support, is one of the kindest things you can do for yourself. So let's gather all of this together. Balance isn't one sense that fails. It's 3 systems your brain blends, every second of your life. With age, each one dims a little, and the safety net between them grows thin. The catch that saves you slows, and avoidance quietly makes the whole thing fade faster. But not one part of that is a closed door. Every piece of it responds to gentle, consistent practice. One thing I've learned over the years is that the body keeps what you ask of it. Ask nothing of your balance, and it slips away. Ask a little of it each day, and it stays. So if you take only one thing from all of this, let it be this small habit. Each morning, while you brush your teeth, stand with your feet close together, your free hand near the sink. That's it. A minute of quiet practice, fold it into something you already do. Do only that for a few weeks, and I think you'll notice yourself moving through your day with a little more confidence. Your balance was never truly gone. It was only waiting, patiently, to be asked to work again. Take good care of yourself, and I'll see you in the next one.